We all wanna change. We all wanna be somebody else. I wanna visit all the places nobody goes. I wanna teach all the things that nobody knows. I wanna grow wings, leave the coop, learn to fly. Bungee jump from the tallest building in Dubai. I wanna fly around town in my UFO. I wanna eat real food, not the GMOs.
Hello and welcome to Desertwood Days. I'm your host, Kathy Blaze, and I am here with Mr. Lawyer Johnson, comedian and entrepreneur. How's it going?
It's going good. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Good to see you. It's been quite a while.
You as well.
You know, when I first met you, you were just starting off as this little skinny comedian.
Correct.
I remember that day. Now you done matured into this man. It's good to see it. It's good to see your growth.
I appreciate it.
And I've seen this growth in the community, which is awesome because you've done a lot of work for a lot of comedians.
Yes.
So I'd like to start off, Lawyer, by asking you, why comedy?
It's weird. I just kept hearing. I know a lot of people like, now he about to get into the spiritual thing, or ghosts and all that. I just kept hearing this voice in my head like, "Won't you try stand up? Won't you try stand up?" And I just got tired of hearing the voice. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna try stand up, and it's something I've always been around. Amongst my friend when we was younger, we called it the dozens, where you tell jokes about each other, mothers and stuff like that. So it gradually grew from that. So it's always been something I wanted to do, and the voices in my head was like, let's do it. And I jumped into it, and the rest is history. You
know what? One thing I noticed different from you, I've known lots of comedians, and my brother thought he was a comedian, but he ain't. But you're serious. Most people expect comedians to be funny all the time. Do people expect you to be funny all the time?
When I get on the stage, they expect me to be funny. But my demeanor is it's always serious. Like
cool,
you're saying,
calm, serious.
Cool, calm, and serious. And that just come from being in situations as a kid where I always had to be serious. So I have that, that demeanor. But like when I get on stage, yes, I transition that into being funny. Yes.
Yeah, I've seen you turn loose on stage.
Yeah.
Because most time people expect comedians to always, they can just wake up out of bed and they expect them to be kind of funny.
Yes.
Any place where we spend a lot of time giving out our talents, we would hope that that they're helping our professionals cultivate their talent.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that you have experienced that in the Arizona comedy clubs?
That they helped me cultivate my talent?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know if y'all remember Stand Up Scottsdale. Stand Up Scottsdale to me was my beacon of light. The guy that ran Stand Up Scottsdale, he had a series that was on Bar Rescue. His name is Howard Hughes. Beautiful individual. He's the one that cultivated me into becoming a better comedian. He would take time out of his day of running the club and watch me work his open mics and come back and give me suggestions on what I'm supposed to do. So in regards to what you're saying, yes, some people and, some areas, they do cultivate individuals in their community. And Howard Hughes was the individual that cultivated me into correcting and growing my comedy career.
Do you feel that is important for you to pay it forward and help other comedians?
Yes, I'm an advocate to pay it forward. Mm-hmm. Anytime somebody asks me how do you run your podcast, because if you look on my timeline on my Facebook, you'll see that I have interviewed some of the greatest comedians that ever touched the stage, like a Ari Spears or a Tone Bell, and they ask me how did I get to that point, and I tell them, like, listen, as a comedian, you always have to be genuine and always be truthful, and always teach people with respect. And if you asking somebody for information, if somebody asks you for information and you already have the information as a comedian from your experience, always share that information with them to make their progress more easy, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, yes.
You know what? I always felt that, you know what, being open and transparent and helping someone that's just starting off, that helps me too to
Yes.
hone in on my craft also because, you know, we're also learning from them.
Yes.
And that is something that I love hearing you say as a comedian. You are, it's not like, you know, he's performing tonight, so I can't help him.
Mhm.
You're there to help where the help is
Yes.
needed.
I'm always willing to help people. Uh, And the reason why I help individuals, because I don't have any insecurities. I don't have no insecurity. Whatever your blessing is, that blessing is meant for you. And whatever blessing I have, that blessing is meant for me. And that's to break down the whole scenario of it. What you do doesn't affect me.
Right. That's
So
true.
I'm going to give you the blessing. If I know somebody out in LA that can help you further your career, I'm going to give you that number. Now it's up to you to do what you need to do with that number to progress your career.
Right.
So I'm always willing to help individuals that need the information or need contacts to get on the stage.
That is awesome. Which comedy club was your first stand up here in Arizona? Where'd you perform?
Actually, the first show, ooh, it wasn't even in a comedy venue, to be honest. I think it was like Native Wings. Native New Yorkers, A promoter booked me to do a show. He gave me 10 minutes. I just went up there and put together my bit, and I did the show for him. It wasn't the actual a comedy video. I didn't actually get onto a real stage until like 2016 when I got booked to do the first impression out in Hollywood, out in Los Angeles, at the Laugh Factory, some Chocolate Sunday. So that was my really first comedy gig, actually getting in front of an audience that judge you for real.
Okay. So what was that experience like at Chocolate Factory in LA, since that was your first real big performance?
I was nervous. I was nervous. 1,000 things was running through my mind. I was second guessing myself. Should I run this bit? They might not like this, or they'll like this one. And when I hit the stage, I just did the best I could. And for me doing the best I can do at that moment, put me in the room and in contact with the individual that booked me again for that show. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So as a comedian, I know as an actor, you can get in your head and get confused and lost. How is it when, let's say you did this joke and people boo you, or you don't even get any acknowledgement for the joke? How do you get back on track from that?
It depends on what scene I'm in. Like if I'm working an open mic, if I'm at an open mic, and normally when you go to an open mic, you're amongst your peers. It's a whole bunch of comedians in there that's working on their new material. So when you go in there, you don't expect for them to laugh at it because everybody in this competition race. So some people that love you, they might laugh at it, and some people that don't like it, they're not gonna laugh at it. So
you're saying you don't really focus on the ones
because their opinion might not be the truth. Like I might say that joke in front of in an open mic, they be like, they might not say anything, but when I get in front of an actual crowd and I work, and they be like, "Oh, that's funny." But now, if it doesn't work in front of an authentic crowd, now I need to find out why that joke didn't work.
Right.
If that, you know what I'm saying, if that make any sense, I need to find out what makes that joke work. And if I work it 2 more times, if I run it 2 more times, it don't work, I'll abandon it.
Yeah, so you don't let them throw you off is what you're saying.
No.
But if it doesn't work, even if it doesn't work, you still don't let them throw you off, but you go back and you work it to get it to whatever perfection may
Maybe
be.
my first year, I probably let them discourage me and not run it again and walk off the stage. But like when you get in the comedy game, I say 6-7 years, you're in phase about what people think. You just go back to the drawing board.
Right, you understand it by then. So before I jump to this, I want to ask, what would be a tip that you would give to an aspiring comedian?
Be yourself.
Okay.
Do what works for you. Don't try to mimic anyone. Don't get into cliques, because cliques can give you false results on your comedy. And that's what happened with a lot of comedians out there. They get in this clique, and they clique kind of validate them being funny, but you're not actually funny until you get out on the road and your material works in all venues. Yes.
Right.
So, I mean,
Because
be yourself.
Your homies will always tell you you're good.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. So you have started a podcast. Could you tell us a little bit about what the funny man Lawyer Johnson is talking about on his podcast?
I talk about everything. I talk about from relationships to growing up, how the industry look at you. I talk about everything. Like the Ari Spears interview, that was like one of the best interviews I've ever done, because we went all the way down the road of people getting blackballed out of Hollywood, what to say, what not to say to get blackballed out of Hollywood. We talk about relationships.
Okay,
We
so
talk
it's
about
like a variety.
Variety
Okay,
things.
that's
Yes.
awesome. So where can I guess find you?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. Just put Lawyer Johnson up there, and my information will pop up there, or just put comedian Lawyer Johnson.
I'm sure there's not too many Lawyer Johnsons
No, it's not
around
too
here.
many Lawyer Johnson. Might be a Lawyer Malord, but Lawyer Johnson. I'm the only Lawyer Johnson out there. Well, I hope I am.
Well, thank you for joining us today. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you for having me on.
And that is our show for today. Thanks for joining us.